Hello, it's me again, Sue and Nana. Hello, my gorgeous Robin and Jensen and Izzy and Ethan. I love you all, and you're all wonderful, wonderful grandchildren, and I'm missing you madly. So I'm going to read you The Snail and the Whale today. It's by Junior Donaldson. There we go. And the sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. As she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. I'm going to have a little bit of trouble with this because it's a bit hissy. This will be fun. This is the tale of a tiny snail and a great big grey-blue humpback whale. This is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. The sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships in the dock. As she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. That's a nice picture of the sea. Look at the big lighthouse there and all the seagulls. There's a little snail on the big rock. See? Good. There's a big boat there, look. It's a big cruise ship like Nana and Papa went on. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, "Be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put." But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed, then cried, "I've got it! I'll hitch a lift." This is the trail of the tiny snail, a still slivery trail that looped and curled. Yeah, do you see the snail's trail? There, look, there's a snail at the end of it, and there's all of her snail's friends on the big black rock. So the silvery trail that looped and curled and said, "Lift wanted around the world." And she did that. The snail did that with their silvery, slicky trail. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright. A humpback whale, immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song of shimmering ice and coral coves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale. He held out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, "Come sail with me." And there's the big humpback whale, look. And there's his big tail. And there is the tiny snail sitting on the humpback whale's tail. This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering ice blocks, icebergs and far off lands. Look at the icebergs. There, look, there's a little snail sitting on the humpback whale. Look at the penguins. I love penguins. They're so cute. And there's some seals there. With fiery mountains and golden sands. This is the far off lands with fiery mountains. That is a volcano. And there. Oh, look at the dolphins jumping. There, these are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. There he is. Look at the big waves. They're enormous big waves. And there's a tiny snail. These are the caves beneath the waves, where stripy fish with feathery fins and sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. There's a shark. See the colour of fish? Oh, pretty fish. Look at this. Octopus. Big teeth, look. These are sea anemones. This is the sky, so vast and high, sometimes sunny and blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. There are parrots in the tree there, look. There's rain on the snail and the whale. And there is the real fierce sea. There, look. There's the snail on the tail. He's very clever. Just stay there. Look at that big forked lightning. Whoa. But there was big thunder crashes in that. As she gazed at the sky, the sea, the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand, she gazed and gazed, amazed by it all. And she said to the whale, I feel so small. There's a bear, a big eagle up there. The mountains, the snowy mountains. And there is the little snail on the whale's tail. What's that sitting on the rock? Looks like a penguin. Well, it's not a penguin, it's a bird of some sort. I wonder if it's an albatross. I saw albatrosses when I went to New Zealand. But then came the day the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race, zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar, making him swim too close to the shore. Oh, look at the sea. Oh, look at the speedboats. See the dog. Fancy having a dog in a speedboat. Oh, and look, there's the poor whale. She's come right up to the seashore. Sand. See the seagulls on the top. The lighthouse is in the distance. And the snail is still on the whale's tail. This is the tide slipping away. And this is the whale lying beached in a bay. Quick, off the sand, back to the sea, cried the snail. I can't move on land. I'm too big, moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small. Then, I've got it, she cried, and started to crawl. I must not fail, said the tiny snail. There's the whale, he's beached up on the sand. And there's the little snail crawling away. The seagulls having a chat and thinking, oh goodness, what can we do to help? This is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. This is the teacher holding her chalk, telling the class, sit straight, don't talk. This is the board as black as soot. There's the blackboard, and there's all the children, the school bell, and there's the teacher telling them to sit up straight. And this is the snail with the itchy foot. A snail, the teacher turns pale. Look, said the children, it's leaving a trail. This is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, save the whale. These are the children running from school, fetching the fireman, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. There's all the children, look, fire trucks. Oh, look, there's a digger there as well. A fireman, all squirting the whale to keep him cool. There's a helicopter up in the sky, look. It's good pictures. This is the tide coming into the bay, and these are the villagers shouting, hooray! And the whale and the snail travel safely away. There's the tide coming in, so the whale can float away, and there's the snail sitting on the whale's back, look. And then they're off, and there's the snail on the whale's tail, and all the children are waving goodbye. There, and they're filming it there. Their daddy's there's got a video camera filming. Back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, how time's flown, and haven't you grown? And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves, of how the snail, so small and frail, with a looping, curling, silvery trail, saved the life of a humpback whale. And the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled the snail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. There's the humpback whale, happy, and there are all the snails on the rock. And look, now they're all on the tail of the humpback whale. They're all crawling up there. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the grey-blue humpback whale. There, look, the humpback whale's taking them all for a trip round the world. And they're all lived happily ever after. I hope you enjoyed that one today. Oh, I can't wait to give you all a big, big huggles. Big snuggly, huggly, buggly, big hug. See you soon.